Hey guys, my name is Justin and welcome to Hellsborough, where we care about the design behind designer luxury. And if you do too, make sure to subscribe. We have a good time here. I always forget you guys can like read the video description, but like when I'm like filming, I'm like, I'm gonna get him this time. But then I never do. Anyways, something that is a long time coming. Boop, boop, a review of the Chanel Hula Hoop bag in lambskin with silver hardware and quilted leather. Also, I think this is made in France. Yeah, it is. So if you are not familiar with the way I do bag reviews, I like to kind of split things up into 5 categories. Design, durability, comfort, investment value, and then impact, like visual impact. I say it every single time. I should just call it visual impact, but whatever. So a little bit of backstory. I've had this bag for probably, I don't know, 4 years at this point. I wore it for the first time December of last year. I don't know what took me so long to use it. I think it was probably like stress and just like me not wanting to like mess it up. I don't use it often, but I have used it enough and for long enough for sure that I'm like, all right, I can talk about it finally. But yeah, so I guess without further ado, let's dig in. Okay, so let's talk about the design of this bag. First off, a little bit of context. This is from the Chanel Spring Summer 2013 runway. I don't think this specific model ended up on the runway, but there's a huge version of this in white that was never actually like commercially made. And then there's like the tiny versions, which I think are typically more popular, but I also am like fully discovering that I'm not like a tiny bag person. But basically this is one of the more iconic designs of Chanel. It definitely has its place in pop culture. So in terms of the actual physical design, the idea behind this bag is that there's like stiff handles and it like loops around the bag and crosses over at the top to make this kind of like hula hoop kind of shape. But then the body of the bag is like that typical like Chanel classic flap kind of thing in terms of like lambskin and quilting, and then like the CC turn lock thingy, including like the fainting pocket or whatever. So this is from like the 2010s, back when Chanel still had like a super high expectation of quality with their bags. Something I just really wanted to point it out. And I think they still do this, or at least they try to do this. But with the fainting pocket, you can see like the quilting like actually lines up. And I think that's just a really beautiful detail. So it's this kind of like seamless feeling. Oh yeah, forgot to mention, it does have like one zip pocket, but like, I don't know, I just threw my wallet in there. I was like, all right. Hey, make sure you put desiccant bags in there. This is a good thing. This has been a bag that like I've always been interested in, even before I knew I liked bags. Well, even before I knew I was like queer. Like I remember like going to the mall with my mom and going into Neiman Marcus and going into this Chanel store, and like my mom doesn't really care about like luxury stuff, so I don't know like what happened to me to like mess me up. They had one of these in the store. That was back when like I was like uncomfortable with like luxury stuff. So I was like, oh, I wish I could like ask to touch it. Or I mean, I was also a kid, so they probably wouldn't let me touch it, but like at least have my mom see it. But then I didn't ask her because I'm like, oh, like this is weird. But now I'm like, however many like 20 some blah, blah, years later, now I have it. I don't know, I feel like part of why I'm talking about so much of this like emotional side does have to do with a little bit of that nostalgia feeling, which I think when you're talking about like these older bags that have had an opportunity for like culture and whatever to kind of influence the way that people see it, it definitely has an impact on like the actual design or the way we view the design, right? I will say there is one caveat in that you can really only carry this, like it's a top handle bag basically. You can carry it by the top, or you can put it in the crook of your arm. I think in a way that feels kind of funky, but I think looks cool, is, and I did do this, but you can wear it like on your shoulder, but I had to turn it. I think just because like the shape of my body. This is another way I carried it. Like, you know, like normal. Oh God, that looks good like that. And like if you know me, you know I love wearing a bag different ways. So it does feel a little limiting there. But in terms of the design, the fact that like this is like one of fashion history's, like, at least from my perspective, this feels like an iconic bag. Let me know in the comments if you disagree. But for me, when it comes to the design of this bag, I 100%, it's not a perfect score because of what I mentioned, but I will give it a 9. Alright, next up we have durability. So if you are familiar with Chanel, specifically their lambskin, you understand where this is heading. Lambskin, in general, is a very soft material. It's very supple. I don't know how to exactly describe it. Like, I would just suggest, like, if you can find a place that has like lambskin bags, like a Chanel or wherever, to just like see if you can like touch it. It feels like just really like buttery soft leather, but that also means it's very easy to damage. This is a bag that is at this point, I don't know, 20 years old. Even though I was the first person to use it and I haven't used it much, there is already like signs of wear, just because that's like the nature of a bag like this. You can see like the quilting has started to sink in. I think if you look at my like first impression of this, you'll see it's the same thing. So that's not the big issue. But when I bought it, I did notice that there was like 1 or 2 like nicks or scuffs across the bag. And I will say that through just one wearing, I don't know where it was, but I did actually end up seeing another scuff. It could have been there and I just didn't notice it. But like even like the inside, how like the fold is like creasing, just because that's how leather is. I will say like it is a beautifully constructed bag. In terms of durability, like this thing, it's like, it's not the most like tough bag. I will say this bag for durability probably just gets like a 6. So comfort, I know I mentioned I'm the type of person that likes versatility from a bag. You can only wear this a couple of ways. I do want to say, for some reason, I have no idea why, this bag was extremely comfortable to wear. Sometimes like when I wear crossbodies, like I get like that kind of a headache from it being like maybe like here or something, like a bag for being there for so long. I did not have this, and maybe it's because it limited you to a few ways of wearing it. For me, it was enough to just like switch holding it here in the crook of my arm and then even like throwing it on my shoulder. And that was more for fun. When I think about comfort, I also like incorporate like the safety of it. These little like turn locks feel so nice. They feel so secure. And then like, yes, there's like a little opening here, which like, sure, like a lip balm or lip gloss or something could fall out if you like wear it on your shoulder or like you hold it sideways or something. But like, it's not enough for someone to, you know, put their hand in. And this just feels so secure. It's heavy duty. Like I can't imagine, like, of course, like if you're in a super noisy place, maybe someone could like get in here without you knowing it. But like, I think if you're just like aware enough, it's completely fine. So I think the number that I have in my head might be a little surprising, but for comfort, I want to give this an 8. Okay, so for investment value, like I said, this is not, I don't know, if you're new here, maybe you haven't seen me say this before, but it's not my favorite category because I'm like, I don't care about resale value, blah, 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 whatever. This bag, I will talk about resale value. And I will be like straight up with the numbers because I want to be honest with you guys. Also because I don't plan on reselling it. I don't plan on trying to make money off of it, which like if you're just a reseller trying to make money off of stuff, like you're done, you're over. I'm not into it. This bag I bought for $4,000 US. Insane number. First off, for me, that's like, this is like way out of my comfort zone for like bags. Hence why like I haven't bought any Bottega because like $7,000 for a bag is crazy, like that kind of thing. The way I have seen this bag, specifically, not just the idea of like the classic flaps, but this bag specifically, appreciate in value. I think I saw somewhere this specific model in this color. I think I saw it go for like $7,000 or $8,000, and I was like gobsmacked. I was in shock. I was speechless. I was like, huh? Like, I understand like the luxury market is kind of crazy right now, but like for this, after just a few years to go for almost twice the price is insane to me. And like right now, I know like the listings for this on like Vestiaire and whatever are sitting at 10K, and I'm like, ain't no way someone's gonna pay 10K for that. But like at this point, I'm like, I don't know, who knows? And then I'm also like, well, dang, if I didn't use it and then waited until like someone actually sold it for 10K, and then I could sell it for 10K. But I'm like, that's also just not me. I love this bag too much to not use it. So guess what? Investment value of this bag is gonna get a 10. And then for the last category of impact, I always like to take into account like just the different types of like attention it might receive. This is not a loud bag necessarily, although like the structure of it does have a little bit of like, like interest, I guess. But I will say like the times that I wore this bag, I never really had anyone like come up to me and say like, oh, I love that bag. Not like some of the like Loewe Ghibli stuff or even this bag I think I got a compliment on. But for this bag, I didn't have anyone come up to me, but I did have a lot of people looking at, not me, which is like, like looking like at this bag as I was walking by. Like noticeably a lot of people, specifically, I will say people who like present more feminine, they like did that as I like walked by. And that actually is a little bit less comfortable for me than when people actually come up to me and say something about the bag. That's my personal experience with it. Yeah, I think there's definitely an air of like people are gonna see it and they're gonna notice it specifically because of this and or the whole look of it. So I don't know, it was uncomfortable, but I got attentions. But if that's the kind of attention you like, it works. Just like level of attention, I will give this a 7. In conclusion, this bag basically got like the lowest B possible. I feel that. It's not the best bag to use, but if you love a hand carry or like a crook of your arm kind of bag, totally works. And this is a beaut for sure. I look forward to using this more, and I want to start using this more casually. I want to treat it a little bit less special. It's kind of like the whole thing about the Birkin, right? Like, it's like, oh, it's a special bag, but I'm like, nah, use it. Have it, whatever, blah, blah. I don't know, we'll see. Who knows? Maybe you'll see like an update video in like 1 or 2 years where it's like, this is my bag, and it's just like tattered, like shreds with like stuff peeling and stuff. But yeah, in general, I do love this bag, and I do recommend, and I think I can say this from the most like general way, buying an older Chanel bag is the way to go. Even if you're just looking at a classic flap, it's the way to go, because the quality level of what I have seen in the stores recently versus what, even just looking at this bag, worlds apart. But that is all I have for you today. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. It lets me know that you like this kind of content and that you too care about the design behind designer luxury. Until next time! The design behind designer luxury.